Knowing how long to stay and knowing when to leave is an invaluable skill. So you could probably think of someone you like very much, either a family member, a coworker, or a friend, a date, and you like them very much, but sometimes you just feel kind of tired of them, and you're not exactly sure why. That say you're spending the day with them, and it's a great day, you're having a lot of fun, but as the day goes along, you just naturally just feel worn down. And it's not so much you being physically tired or just talking a lot. It's just you start getting tired of them, even though they're not doing anything wrong. And that can be a very confusing feeling. But let me explain where that's coming from. So naturally, you can guess it's because that you're kind of getting sick of them. That you spent the whole day with them, and there's they're not providing anything else interesting. That like we were watching a movie that you really like, and the movie's great, but after you finish, you don't want to watch it again right away, unless it's a really good movie. And that's true with people. Even the most interesting people, there is a limit to how much time you can spend with them in one sitting. Now, with people, it varies very much about what that extent is. Some people you can only handle like 5 minutes of because they're that unbearable. And others, literally, like you can spend probably weeks with them, just nonstop, and you won't tire of them. And why that is, it varies. But the important takeaway here is that can happen to you. And I'll give you an example of how this can negatively impact you. Say I'm at a party, it could just be a little social event I'm at with my friends or some other acquaintances. And, it's I'm having a great time. We're all having a blast. We're just doing other whatever activity. We just be talking and we're having plenty of laughs. And the hours go on. And, it's becoming
Huh.
more and more fun. But eventually the fun starts to die down, either when people start getting tired or just don't have much else to talk about. Now, me, like, say this is my Saturday night, I want to have a lot of fun, I just want to keep going because these might be people I haven't seen in a while, and I just want to recapture those moments that I just had a couple hours ago. So you can keep on pushing and pushing, keep trying to talk to people. And funny enough, the people that were very receptive early on are now they're not receptive anymore. And the reason why is because they're getting sick of you. It's nothing against you personally. You might be a boring person, but I'm guessing you're not. They just starting to hear the same conversations or the same type of speech patterns or so on. It could be anything. But the takeaway here is that if you keep pushing, you keep trying to recapture the climax or the peak of the conversation you had before, or the peak of the event or activity, you're actually going to just make them dislike you and kind of, in a way, start to resent you a little bit. Especially if you do this on a consistent basis every time you see them. That when the night rolls down or the event starts to finish, but you keep staying. That you don't take your leave and walk off stage. Instead, you just keep pushing, and not so much more staying, but keep trying to engage with someone who's not receptive anymore. That you can see they're kind of tired, that they want to leave or they want to do something else, but you keep pushing forward. You might be a very good person, but they're not going to like you very much. And you can apply this to many other situations, like, for example, a date. It's not a bad idea to keep dates short because, if you're just meeting someone and you're having a great conversation and it's going great that you're connecting and it's working out, might not be a bad idea to either progress or cut it off from there because you kind of already done the job of the date that you guys got to know each other better and you kind of vibe more. So you either take it to the next step or you basically say your goodbyes and then move forward later. Well, a big mistake especially a lot of guys make is they feel like they keep wanting to push more because they're having such a good time or they feel like they need to prove themselves more. So what do? They just keep dragging the date out and they'll can lead to bad results where the girl they she very much likes him, but because of this, that the last impression she's getting of you is just being bored or just tired of you, and that's not something you want. So in a funny way, like a lot how a lot of people talk themselves out of like a deal, you can um, you can bore yourself out of a deal. But these are just scenarios of where how this can go wrong. You could probably think of people in your life where this happened of where someone who just refused to leave your house or someone who keeps texting you every single day with not they don't have anything to talk about. So the way around this is to actually limit yourself. That take your leave when you feel like it's enough, that either you had enough or they had enough. A good way of knowing exactly when to leave is can be a little tricky. Is you don't want to leave too soon because then you're going to miss out on a lot, and you're going to be seen as a wet towel or something. And you don't want to leave too late, like I explained just before. Good way to tell though when's the proper time is thinking your conversation or your event almost like a graph where you start at the bottom, with time going on the x-axis and engagement and fun on the y-axis. You start on the bottom, and as time goes on, the fun starts to go up and up and up until you hit a climax of that's the peak enjoyment of your engagement with that person or group of people. And then it starts to go down and down and down, right? You don't want to leave before that climax because you're going to be missing out, and you can't be so pragmatic about being so worried about this where you're not enjoying things. And you can't be too late or else people are just going to get a bad vibe off you. So the best way to know when to leave is when you pass that point of the peak and you start to go down. You sense that the conversation is starting to wind down. You're having a tougher time figuring out things to talk about, or things are kind of repeating, and everyone's energy levels going down. That's when you make your leave. Right before you think you should. That's the best point. So if you're starting to think about like, oh, is this my time to head behind the curtain? If you're just thinking about that, it's yes. There's doubt. There is no doubt. And if you just use this consistently enough, you make your exit. You might feel a little bad about you're gonna miss that end part of the conversation or event that people might have fun. You're gonna miss out a little bit, but in the long run, people are gonna want keep coming back to you for more, and that's the big lesson here. That always leave people coming back for more, wanting more. Especially if you're a very good person, that you're very interesting, you're very fun. You want people to know that that's your strong suits. So don't leave the deal open for so long where people will start, stop thinking that about you. Leave them off with a good impression. So in the future, they'll be much more open, receptive, and active and proactive about actually seeing you again. And this is a could be an invaluable skill, on the small sense, just with friends or bigger things as well. And that's often enough. There's some people in my life looking back, when I was younger. There's some people that didn't make their leave often early or just in the right time, that they just seem more valuable, and then other people who just stayed too late and they almost felt like a pest. Where, oh, even though it might sound very messed up to say, that their value almost went down in your eyes. Make sure this doesn't happen to you, and you want people to make an accurate assessment of yourself. So leave them off with that good impression that you start the conversation or continue the conversation. All right. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.